How to adjust your monitor tab in Think or Swim. We have the Thinkorswim desktop platform opened here to the monitor tab under the activity and positions subtab. And what we are going to do is go over to the right side of the screen. Right, see where this is position statement. Let's go over to the other side and click this hamburger icon, and then go down here to add group. This is probably going to pop up if you're only using one screen. It's going to pop up on whatever screen you're using. If you're using multiple screens, it'll pop up on whatever your main screen is. So you can pick any name that you want. I'll give you some examples of things that I've used. So not so you can so much use the exact word, but maybe understand kind of a format that I'm trying to map out here for different trades. For example, the most common thing and what most people think about with the stock market is buying a stock. So we have a group for longs. And go back over here to this hamburger one on the same parallel with this kind of light gray here. Click that, go down to add group again. Now, this group, I do a lot of selling options for income, which you could say is theta trading. And I think most option people would understand if I say I do theta trades. They probably would, maybe they wouldn't know for certain, but some people would just assume that I'm talking about um, selling options. That's what I would assume if someone said that. So it seems like it is to me. And then let's add some more. Now, for me, in my theta trade group, it could be an iron condor, it could be a um, short strangle, it could be just a simple credit spread, but it's something that at the end of the contract expiration date, I'm not anticipating and I'm not really factoring in any possibility of taking ownership of the stock. Now, there's other longer dated trades that I do that there are similar to a theta trade. Um, they are selling cash secured puts on leaps, and so for that I can do something like um, short put, long stock. And what I also like to do, so I'm going to go back to the same spot here. Click this, add group. I also I call it zero DTE, but technically it's not, doesn't have to be zero DTE. But I will move anything that's expiring in the trading week into a category or a group that I have labeled right now as zero DTE. And okay, so I think that is everything that I have. So now we have all the different groups, um, the groups made, but now uh, I'm going to organize them to be in an easier to manage fashion. So here's the actual positions that I have open. Let's check and see what they are. So this is 28 shares of an ETF. So I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to go to move to group and I'll put this under long because it's just a long stock position. Now let's see what this is. Okay, this is 200 shares long and and short 5 put contracts at the 30 strike price with 451 days of expiration. So this is actually, we have two groups where technically each piece could go, right? Because we have the long for long stock. In this, then you would ask me, or it would be decided, which I already know, is this long put, is this more of a theta trade? Or is this short? Did I say long put? Sorry. Is this short? Is this more of a short put long stock? And because I already have 200 shares, someone might think it's reasonable to assume that it might be the short put long stock. But of course, we wouldn't know for sure, and that assumption is correct. And plus, this is a paper trade account, so it doesn't really matter, anyways. So, but that's what I'll do quite a bit in my normal trading profile. So let's move these two. Right click and go down here to move group. Move to group, and I'm going to put this under long. So now you see the stock has moved over there because now the quantity is 0. So again, I'm going to right click this option and move to group. And I'm also going to put that with the long. And the reason why before I do that, let's take a look here. See this buying power effect? And this is for FCX. You can tell like this one, Palantir, see it's got a number with a buying power effect. Right now, FCX, it's split position. It's not showing me the total buying power because I've got option trade here. I have an open option trade open option. I have an open. I have a geez, oh Pete. I have an open option position here. And I also have an open stock position here, but both on the same underline. That doesn't totally make sense because this is not on the underline. This is the underline. So it's because this is the stock and this is a derivative of the stock. So because of that, when they're split up like this in different groups, then it's going to do this to the buying power. I don't particularly like that. Otherwise, I would leave them split up. But I don't like the buying power split up, so I'm going to right click that and I'm going to move to group. I'll put this over at long as well. So now I know what my BP effect is with FCX. And I've got one more to move here. Let's see what it is. Okay, it's just a long 200 shares. So right click on that and then move to group. I'll put this back here in long. Okay, so now let's take a look at what we have. You might have noticed this unallocated group disappeared. It's no longer needed because everything is allocated. So, and before I start clicking things, you notice this little diamond here is pointed this way. That means it's closed. These are pointed down. That means they're open. It just happens to be that nothing is in them. Watch this. When I do this, boom, this comes down. And you notice this? So you can do it how you want. Do you want to pop this open and you see everything, or do you want to pop it open and you just see this and you do the extra step and pop it open if you want to see them? And of course, each one of these pop open to drop down, whatever the correct term is. And let's see what happens if I do this. Okay, they stay open. All right. They might close under some situation. I don't know. What I like to do is I'll leave it like this. I'll pop it open and these will be, I can see these and then I'll open these separately. And one reason is because it just ends up taking a lot of space. Like if you have a lot of trades here, see there's nothing in these right now, but oh, let me do this before Okay, there's nothing in those, but let's reorganize these to be a little more effective here. So notice I click on that hamburger icon. I'm going to move up. Hopefully, let's see, move up. And I'm going to click on the hamburger icon again. I'm going to move up. 0 DTE, move up. Okay, so now I have 0 DTE on the top. That's how I like it. So that way there's nothing in here right now, but I can move, for example, if I wanted to, when actually the way that I do this is when this option here, when this gets down to the last week of option expiration, I will move everything over into this group. So I would transfer the 200 shares, go down, I would right click on the 200 shares, go down to move to group, and I would send them to 0 DTE. And then I would do the same thing over here, right click on the option. Even though that this is the only thing that's expiring, I'm going to send the whole thing over there, move to group. And for the same reason that I already was explaining, that I want to have this one number. And on the week that it's expiring, this number can become very important. And so if I have one number here and I have an idea of where this number normally is, and then if I see that number fluctuating and how much is it fluctuating is giving me an indication of, do I need to take any action on this position? If the number is going down, then no. If the number starts going up, then I might have to. So I like to have those all during the week of expiration. And then after this expires, then I would send this back to the place that it ultimately belongs. And I would end the week with everything expired or moved out of here into its correct spots. And then this though, okay, so I want this one, theta. I'll go down to here and move this up one. And then this is going to go up one. So on the very bottom, we've got the longest time. These are positions I don't plan on, position trades or until I die trades. And that's at the very bottom because that's the longest amount of time. The second one is the short put because so there is a shorter amount of time. However, it's possibly going to end up in long stock and come over here. We'll see how, so those type of trades go in there. And then these ones, as I mentioned, the theta trades, these are generally shorter, somehow shorter amount of time. They're just generally shorter than this. These could be anywhere from a year to 2 years. These ones are generally shorter than a year. And the 0 DTE are like 1 week or less. So as time is passing, a lot of time, often what happens is that there are trades here that I move down into here, and then as more time passes, they move down into here. That's what happens. So that is, and so you can structure however you want to do it. This hopefully this gives you an illustration though of how someone like myself, I consider myself a theta trader. I consider myself someone that sells time, and I'm attempting to do it for a living. I'm at the moment earning a living through dividends and selling time, and this is how I have it structured. However, you can do it however you want. Just do something. Try different things. Try different names. Organize things differently. Be proactive and realize it's kind of like driving a car. You just because I have my chair adjusted a certain way and my steering wheel adjusted a certain way and my mirror adjusted a certain way doesn't mean you'd adjust your mirror, steering wheel, and chair the exact same way. It just means that you're going to use a chair, a mirror, a steering wheel, and you're going to use those things when you're driving the car. You adjust them to your settings. So treat your basically your whole Thinkorswim, in this case for this video, your activity and positions under the monitor tab the same way.